Oh, I moved the chair. That's fine. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to try and get this done as quickly as possible without it being a whirlwind because I am tired. It's been one of those mornings non-stop. I wanted to do another blind video focusing on relationships because it came to my attention, excuse the phone, it came to my attention that there's a lot of visually impaired or blind people out there that don't have experience in relationships, and specifically when it comes to the more intimate part of relationships. Just a little disclaimer, obviously my channel I like to keep PG because of some of the people that watch it. I don't want to give them a fright or anything, but I will be talking about, you know, I'm not going to be talking about sex or anything like that because I don't want to get the video monetized either, but it is to do with that aspect of relationships, the touching aspects, which can be really daunting when you cannot see, especially if you've never met the person, you're going on a first date. So things like initiating kisses and holding hands, they can be really daunting things. And you're probably wondering how I manage. I have little tips and tricks. Some people argue that it's easier for, you know, a visually impaired or blind girl than it is for a guy. But I strongly disagree with that. It's the 21st century. Some guys can just be as shy. And at the end of the day, it depends who you're going out on a date with. If you're going out on a date with a guy who is a gentleman and he doesn't want to scare you, he might want to kiss you but be too scared to initiate it without your consent. So communication is the biggest tip I can give anyone. It really is. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. There's been times where I've been going out on dates and I've wanted someone to kiss me and they haven't. And usually in these situations, if I could see, I would have done the job myself. But I can't. So I end up just texting them later saying, hey, had a really nice time. You know, I word it a bit better. I don't say it in these exact words, but I say, you know, I wanted you to kiss me and you didn't. What's up with that? And you know, if they come back and they freak out because they're like, oh my goodness, I'm not ready for that, blah blah blah, then you know that, well, for me, if he was freaking out, then I would probably think, he's probably not the one for me then, because, you know, if you've been on a few dates and he's still scared to kiss you, it's not the kind of person that I'm looking for. But you kind of have an idea of, the guy comes back and he's been really nasty and mean to you. I'm saying guy because this is just me, it could be a girl. If the person comes back and they're being really nasty or mean to you, then again, that's another good thing. It's like, oh, okay, now that I know, I can just stop seeing you and put an end to that. It's like I was saying in my other relationship videos, being blind or visually impaired, it's good because you weed out very quickly the good guys or girls from the bad ones, very quickly. So communication is really good. So if you bring that up to, you know, your date and they say, too scared, or, oh yeah, I actually really wanted to kiss you, but I didn't know how to because you couldn't see and I didn't want to scare you. Because quite a lot of the time, they might be giving off strong body language that they want to. But you know, you being blind, you're just like, hi there! And it's like, you want to kiss me? I have no idea. And it can be really embarrassing and awkward for you. So getting over that embarrassment and that awkwardness, just being as real with the person as possible. It's like, yeah, I really like you and I want to kiss you, but I can't see and I'm really sorry, but you're gonna have to help me here. It doesn't have to be awkward every time. Sometimes it can be, but the good thing about it is, once it's done, it's done. And from what I've heard from sighted, this isn't just like blind people as well, sighted people too. Two people in a sighted relationship, once they have that first kiss, it's like, oh, thank goodness, because, you know, the pressure's gone. You feel like you can kiss them whenever you want, blah, blah, blah. You know, the same goes for being blind and visually impaired. Once you have that first kiss, both parties feel like, okay, cool, I now know that I can kiss her, or I kind of know what to expect. You know, you're both really relaxed and chilled, and that pressure's just taken off of you. And I think it's great to get that pressure taken off of you. So communication, honestly, is really good. With anything. I'm talking about kissing, hugging, holding hands, anything. And that goes for sighted people as well, in sighted relationships. With me, when I could see but I was still visually impaired, you know, you might want to go on a cinema date, and nobody does this anymore because it's cringy. And if you do this, okay, that might work for you, but personally I don't like it. You know, when you're in the cinema and the guy does that cheesy move where he yawns and he puts his arm around you. Oh dear no. But yeah, when you're in the cinema, you do expect, you know, social normities. You do expect maybe a bit of cuddling, a bit of hand holding. But if you're the guy, or, you know, this is your first cinema date, not your first date, because again, my personal preference, going on a first date to the cinema isn't entirely the best option. Personally, because when you're meeting that person, you want to just talk and get to know that person as best as possible. But if you're in a cinema and you're seeing a film, there's not going to really be a lot of talking going on. Maybe you might get a bit of talking before and after, but the main portion of the date is going to be you sitting watching a film. I think it's better when you've actually got an established, well, not in a relationship, but when you know each other you quite well to have the luxury to do that. But when you're in the cinema, and you can't see in the dark, so it kind of is like being blind, you want to hold that person's hand. Now, you know, body language such as if the person's sitting with their arms folded across their chest or sitting on their hands, which is my go-to body language for, I don't want you to touch me, I don't want you to hold my hand, go away. You know, if you can't see that they're giving you clear-cut signs, I am not interested, I do not want to hold your hand, I do not want to touch you. And the only way you're going to know that is if the person said that, or you felt them, which can be really, really hard. Again, the person might really want to hold your hand too, but they might be really, really shy. So if this is the case, you've got to ask yourself, if you're really, really shy, and they're really, really shy, and they're not willing to put themselves forward and help you, because you don't ask them to make the first move all the time, but because you can't see, they're gonna kind of have to meet you halfway, maybe more than halfway the first time, maybe 60 to 70% of the way, because they're gonna have to put themselves out there enough for you to know what they want. Which can be a daunting thing for them. So that's where you're going to have to ask yourself, if they're really shy and you can't see, might not be a good match, because and especially if the communication's not great as well. But if you still think that, you know, he or she you really want to try, you could always do things like putting your arm on the handrest in between you. So just letting them and letting yourself know that you are available for hand holding, but without actually pushing it in their face, without actually being like, here's my hand, hold it, and then they feel pressured to. So it's kind of casual, nonchalant, like, yep, that's my arm, if you know. And again, if they're not, because sometimes subtle hints, a lot of people don't pick up on subtle hints, so maybe being a bit more, not forceful, it's definitely the wrong word, but even if you move your hand more over to that person than you might, you know, brush their finger on their, you know, on their leg. I'm not talking about like, oh, hello there, just like kind of like touching them. So if you touch them, it'll notify them to, oh, someone touched me. They'll look down and then they'll see your hand, and then, you know, they might be like, oh, I see what they're doing, okay, cool. You know, sometimes these things don't work. They're not guaranteed. That's why I always say to you, communication is the best. You know, if you really want to hold their hand in the cinema, then say that to them. And I know for me personally, I think it's a killer. I like spontaneity. I can't say that word. So, and it can be really cringy as well, being like, hi, I want to hold your hand in the cinema. Just saying. You know, it can be, which is why I personally prefer the people that I'm seeing to be a bit more outgoing. Don't get me wrong, like I said at the start, I'm not one of these people that likes them to make the first move every time. I don't. I can be a big old initiator myself. It's just that first initiation. I don't want to, read the body. I don't want to have an embarrassing situation. I don't want to assume that they like me as much as I like them, but in actuality the whole time I've been with them they've been giving me body language that they are not interested at all. So yeah, and like I said, it can be hard if they are interested in you but they're too shy. That wouldn't be the person for me, because I personally, this is all down to what I prefer in men. I like my men to be a little bit more outgoing and have a little bit more confidence. When it comes to first kisses as well, you might be scared because, if they're leaning in and you're leaning in, you might be scared, what if I accidentally missed their face and kissed their nose or kissed the side of their cheek? Or sometimes going in for a hug first is really good, because if you go in for a hug first, then you kind of get a sense of where their body is and you know where their head is. So that's a good one to always go for. Again, if he or she is more of an initiator, they might already have done most of the leaning in for you, so you might only have to lean your head forward the tiniest bit, which is the most ideal situation. It's more of a risk. It depends how confident you are as well. So if you're going in for a first kiss and you're scared about the whole, especially if you're going in for a first kiss and you accidentally kiss their nose, depends how confident you are as well. You might kiss their nose and you might just, laugh at it. He or she might laugh at it because he or she accepts you for you and knows you can't see, and it's fine, it's totally cool. And then there might be situations where you feel more pressured because there's this whole thing around your first kisses have to be perfect and everything, and you might be like, oh, I've just ruined our first ever kiss, whatever. Depending on how confident you are, you could always place your hand on the person's cheek, so you know exactly where you're going for because you have that map. Now, in most cases, some people could construe that as very passionate, and some people might like it. It's a very bold move, so if you're not comfortable with it, then that's totally okay. These are some of the things I do, so I do that. I have done that, and it doesn't bother me. I like to think I'm generally quite a confident person when it comes to that kind of stuff. Again, I don't like initiating things at the very, very start. Literally just because of the eyesight. If I was fully sighted, I would not have a problem whatsoever. I just don't want any other visually impaired or blind person out there to feel like they can't have a normal relationship because they're too scared to initiate or because of these things. So if there's anything you can take away from this video, it's just that That's you calling me, Mum. So don't get annoyed that you have to cut it out because it's your fault. You are just as entitled to have a normal, loving, healthy relationship just as anybody else is. And before I end this video, yes, I have dyed my hair again. It's split this time, so I've dyed it 2 colours. It's split right down the middle, so I don't know how it's coming across in camera, but in person the left side of my hair is a atomic turquoise blue, and the right side of my hair is hot pink. those are the official shades. I don't know if it's coming across backwards, so left is right and right is left, but that's the way it is in person, and I love it so much. So I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I hope you guys are doing well with the dating. If you are dating, good luck to you. I hope you find the special one, and I'll talk to you in a future video. Bye guys!